What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some Chuck Berry. It's the first time I'm reacting to a Chuck Berry tune on the channel, so for anyone who's just found this channel looking for a Chuck Berry reaction, welcome. I do things a little bit differently here on this channel. I'm in my early 40s. I've been collecting physical media for a long time. Originally cassette tapes, and then many CDs, and then eventually I got turntables in the late 90s, and I've been a DJ of a number of different electronic styles, as well as buying records of punk rock and hip hop and reggae and classical music, a number of other styles. Indeed, just check the various reaction playlists on the channel. I think you'll see I'm sort of a musical omnivore. But yeah, I don't react to YouTube videos here. I got nothing against that. I just do things in a more sort of old school DIY way here. And not only do I react to the physical media that I have in my collection, but since I started doing this, a number of people have begun to share their physical collections with me, either sending me like physical copies, like records, CDs, in some cases sharing like files with me of their own physical collection. So yeah, it's become this big musical party, but we're going to start listening to some Chuck Berry. I have a best of Chuck Berry CD. It's from MCA and it's called like the Millennium Collection. I think it's been around for a while. I don't remember. Does it say here? I think it says 1999. Maybe it says 1990. No, it's 1999. So yeah, I do remember this is a CD that my parents got like shortly before I moved out. Again, I was born in 1980. I think I moved out like 01, maybe 02. And when I moved out, I took some CDs with their permission, and this is one of them. I had already become a fan of early rock and roll, sort of, rhythm and blues. Not to be confused with R&B, which yes, grew out of what we call rhythm and blues, but so did rock and roll. And old school rhythm and blues, I would say, to me sonically is closer to what we call early rock and roll than it is to like more modern R&B. So it's a complicated set of terminology, but a number of you who know Chuck Berry will know to what I refer. Regardless, we're going to listen to one of his big hits. It's called Maybellene. This is a tune, I don't think it was the first one I heard. I think the first one I heard was Johnny Be Good, but it was one of the first I heard from him. And when I was in college, I went to Cal State Fullerton for both my BA and my MA, and when I was in the undergrad program, you have to take electives. I've always been interested in music, so I took a couple of different music history courses. One that was like the history of Western classical music, and that was in, sort of the fine arts department, whatever. But I also took a history of 20th century African American music with a professor named Stan Breckenridge, who's also like a composer and like a singer and whatever. So it was a really cool class. And I learned a lot about not only Chuck Berry, but a number of artists who were sort of seminal artists in early rock and roll. And yeah, I remember reading a lot about how, how much of a trailblazer and a sort of pioneer he was in multiple respects, both his music and what he represented in like popular music. So yeah, it's an artist that I've known for quite a while. I don't know his whole catalog, but I do know several of his bigger hits. So we're going to listen to Maybellene, and I looked this up online just beforehand just to make sure I wasn't getting this wrong. It was written in 1955. I thought it was a little bit later than that. I thought it was like maybe late 50s, but yeah, it was mid 50s. And yeah, as far as I can tell, at least the way that the lyrics have hit me, which, again, if you're new here, if I know a song, I'll talk about the lyrics before we listen to the song for a minute or two, just, the way they've hit me, not in any definitive sense. And if I don't know a tune, if I'm reacting to a tune for the first time, I'll just look at the title, think about what themes it suggests to me, what lyrics, might be at play, again, even less definitively. But this is sort of in the middle, because again, it's a song that I do know, but I haven't actually listened to the CD in a while, which when I found it, I was like, ooh, this will be good, because I know these tunes, but it'll be fresh, because it's been a few years, so. But what I remember is that he's basically referring to an unfaithful girlfriend who, it's essentially set in the context of like a street race, like he's pursuing her, I think it's like a Cadillac. And so yeah, it's like, it's lovers that are, quarreling or, maybe splitting apart because he feels she's been unfaithful, but they're on the road like racing while this is happening. So yeah, I enjoy the sort of narrative of the song, but let's get it. This is Chuck Berry, Maybellene, a song he wrote, but I think, as I looked it up here, apparently it was based in part on a Western swing song called Ida Red, which I never knew before I just looked that up. So interesting tidbit there. But here we go, Chuck Berry, Maybellene, 1955.
Maybellene, why can't you be true? Oh, Maybellene, why can't you be true?
I love this voice.
You done started doing the things you used to do. As I was motivating over the hill, saw Maybellene in the coupe. the bill. Cadillac rolling on the open road, nothing out run my vehicle. Cadillac doing about 95, right? Bumper to bumper, rolling side to side. Maybellene, why can't you be true? Oh, Maybellene, why can't you be true? You done started back doing the thing you used to do.
You done started back doing the thing you used to do.
Before got hot and wouldn't do no more. Gun got cloud and started to rain. I tooted my horn for the passing lane. The rainwater blowing all under my hood. I knew that was doing my motor good. Maybellene, why can't you be true? Oh, Maybellene, why can't you be true?
Oh, I love that.
You done started back doing the thing you used to do.
I just love that phrasing.
Cadillac looking like satin steel, and I caught Maybellene at the top of the hill. Maybellene, why can't you be true? Oh, Maybellene, why can't you be true? You done started back doing the thing you used to do.
Rapid nosedive off a cliff, fade out there. But yeah, it's really cool. I do remember now, as I was just listening to it, that the last articulation of the, I think it's the last verse, there's like a sort of metallic kind of sound when it comes in, and I don't know if that was just something about the recording that just, it happened in a one-off sort of circumstance, but I'm remembering like thinking that like, wow, was that an intentional effect, or was that just sort of a byproduct of the recording, and it was just like an imperfection in that moment or whatever it was. But I heard it again there, so yeah, I wonder. But yeah, it's a super cool tune, and like I said, that would have been a rocking tune of rock and roll. Like whenever you release, like that tune could have come out a couple years ago. Be like, man, that's awesome. Who is that artist? So yeah, it's just amazing how timeless like really good music is. So more Chuck Berry to come. We're gonna go through this. I think I have some other songs on my computer that are not included on this compilation. But yeah, more Chuck Berry to come. Do let me know what you think of this one. I will see you next time. Peace.